Howdy ho folks, CCR here. I'm going to be doing a follow-up to my previous video because apparently, gun sense people are going to be gun sense people and they're going to do gun sense people things such as fearmonger and spread hysteria on concealed carry reciprocity. And I want to start this video off with this tweet right here. Yes, Di-Fi, tell me all about your concerns with the states being able to make their own firearm laws, especially after just recently you reintroduced the federal assault weapons ban. And by the way, Dianne Feinstein is not making this argument by mistake on this one with the CHL laws. She knows that this is about the only argument she can make against national reciprocity. Otherwise, she'd have to go out and argue why it is so unreasonable for states like California to allow concealed carry holders from states like Texas to be able to conceal carry there. And she's going to have a very hard time doing it. In fact, it's probably next to impossible for her to do it honestly or rationally. Moreover, this law would have to force governments such as the government of California to defend their draconian concealed carry permitting laws. They would have to defend how it's reasonable that even though Johnny applied for the CHL, went through the classes, is a law-abiding citizen, is mentally sound, and yet is still getting denied his CCW permit because, well, they just simply don't want to issue it to him. See, people like Dianne Feinstein cannot defend their position on that, so they have to reach and try to claim that they are concerned now all of a sudden about states' legal abilities to choose their own firearm laws, which she's not even concerned about that herself because she's constantly introducing and reintroducing the federal assault weapons ban. She's been doing this for over 20 years now. Oh no, guys, Florida doesn't have this particular explicit restriction in their concealed carry statutes. Oh no, we can't have national concealed carry reciprocity just because of that. Give me a break here. You gun controllers are splitting hairs. Big time. First off, under federal law, we've already got definitions of domestic abuse, right? And if you're convicted of domestic abuse of any sort, be it felony or misdemeanor, you're a prohibited person. Hell, if you have an RO on you from a spouse or a cohabiting girlfriend, you're already a prohibited person. Please. And by the way, let's get the stats on Florida concealed carry permit holders for their overall crime rate. It's 16.5 per 100,000. Is this really a pressing issue? Let me put it into some more perspective here, right? Law enforcement officers, they have 103 per 100,000. Guess what the general populace is now? 3,813, I recall the number I looked at, per 100,000. So, give me a break here. Yeah, stopping concealed carry permit holders from crossing state lines is a pressing issue now, and it's going to stop crime. You people are fucking insane. You see, this is why I say the gun controllers, like gun sense people, are not reasonable people at all. They're not proposing anything reasonable, and this is a prime example of it here. This statement is not only misleading, it's outright false. First off, let's break this down. First off, the intent behind the CCW permitting system in general is the idea that law-abiding citizens who are responsible have the chance to carry concealed, to have a firearm on them to protect them from people who are criminals, who mean to actually take their life or commit a serious crime against them, such as rape, armed robbery, and stuff like that. That's the general idea behind concealed carry. Furthermore, in all 50 states, if you're prohibited from possessing a firearm, then you're not carrying that firearm lawfully. There is no state law that allows you to carry a firearm and be in possession of a firearm if you're already prohibited from carrying said firearm or even owning said firearm. Third, most states do have some advanced requirements for carrying a firearm. I know with Texas CCW, you have to, one, to get the permit, you cannot have had a Class B misdemeanor of any sort on your record within the past 5 years. Class A misdemeanor, 10 years. So again, the standards for getting a CCW mean you have to be even more law-abiding. I also mentioned previously about Florida CCW crime rates and how they stack up nationally with police officers and with the general public. Yeah, Florida CCW holders are generally more law-abiding than the rest of the population. Texas CCW holders, it's even lower. Overall crime rate of 2.4%. Go ahead, find me a state where the CCW holders exceed that of the police when it comes to overall crime rates. You're going to have a hard time doing that. So yes, this statement's patently false. In fact, the only way you can see any sort of truth to it whatsoever is the occasional violent person that slips through the crack. And that's the exception to the rule. That's not the rule. But again, the gun controllers can't argue this being truthfully. They're not going to win arguing this being truthfully. Okay, so again, this statement right here shows you the mentality of gun controllers. They accuse us Second Amendment defenders of being unwilling to compromise, and there are a lot of us that are not willing to compromise with these people anymore, because what they mean by compromise is us conceding to them, us conceding more of our freedom, but when something like CCW reciprocity comes up, they don't want to bend. They don't want to allot more freedom. They want to take freedom away and then accuse us of not compromising with them when we refuse to concede with them, and yet they won't make any concessions at all. A compromise means you make concessions on both sides, and they are so unwilling to do it, it's not even funny. This should give you a little bit more idea of what their mentality is. So this person's putting out the die-fi argument, i.e. that this is going to undercut some states and their concealed carry laws. And this person probably opposes the HPA and supports the federal assault weapons ban. So if that's the case, if you are that person, shut the hell up about states' rights, because you really don't give a damn about them. With the national CCW reciprocity, yes, it is going to have a little bit of an impact on some states when it comes to concealed carry. States like California and New York, who refuse to recognize any other state's concealed carry permit, will now have to do so. They're not going to be allowed to prohibit other people with concealed carry weapons permits from carrying in their states. The other impact that it's probably going to have is on every single May issue state. It's going to make it so, that if they want to continue to sit there and just arbitrarily tell law-abiding citizens, no, you can't have your concealed weapons permit, the law-abiding citizen then has a chance to go to a state like Florida and get a non-resident permit, and then that non-resident permit would have to be recognized in their states. This is pretty much what it does. And at that point, I really don't care that it does have an adverse impact on states like New Jersey or New York or their legislatures, because their legislatures aren't being reasonable with their firearm laws. They're being completely unreasonable. They're giving people who are law-abiding citizens who want the chance to carry concealed, they're not giving them a chance. So on that note, I don't really care that they're going that some of those state legislatures are going to get a little butthurt over this. All right, y'all, thanks for watching. Y'all take it easy out there. Have a great day. Remember, support national concealed carry reciprocity.